Hey guys, it's Jessie. Today I'm going to do a wrap-up of all the books that I read in January. I can't wait to share. If you've been following me, you may have already seen a bunch of these in full reviews, but I'm just going to do a quick little wrap-up today. So if you are interested in the full reviews, I will link everything below. Let's get started. The first one I read was Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and I absolutely loved it. There were so many deep, dark, twisty things, as usual with all of her books. And I just love it. She's one of those that I will pick up every single book that she writes because they're so good and I love them. This is about a girl named Camille who is a reporter and gets sent to her hometown where she hasn't been in 8 years to cover a murder of 2 young girls. And as things kind of unravel, there's these twists that you don't see coming. I definitely thought I had it pegged about halfway through, and turns out while I was still somewhat partially right, there was a big twist right towards the end. I just wish it would have been a little bit longer to kind of pull everything together and give me a little bit more time to enjoy that twist that was right at the end, but I definitely loved this. Then I have The Good Neighbor by A.J. Banner, and this is a book that was being compared to Gone Girl, so I was super excited to pick it up. While I think it had some good moments and it wasn't terrible, it also didn't have me on the edge of my seat. It's about this girl named Sarah who is recently married to this dreamy doctor, and he's actually away for a business conference when their neighbor's house catches fire in the middle of the night. So she runs out to go try and help these neighbors, figures out that she can't save the parents, and helps save the little girl. So the rest of the book we try to figure out who the arsonist was and kind of figure out how Sarah and Johnny are putting their life back together. And usually I feel like a strong couple, it will pull you together, make you a little bit stronger. It just seems like they were being ripped apart. And it did have a somewhat surprising ending. I do feel like a lot of it, though, I had figured out, and I was just hoping for a little bit more. Then I have We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino, and I absolutely adored this book. It was so freaking cute. It's about Matt and Grace as they move into the dorm rooms at NYU on their senior year. They instantly connect and totally hit it off, and they have the cutest little love story that they kind of fight. So they know that the future has different paths for them, so they just kind of wanted to stay friends and wait to see what kind of pulled them together later on, and figured that they would come back. But as we all know, life sometimes has other plans, and they ended up going separate ways, and it's not until 15 years later that they pass each other in the subway and end up reconnecting, and it was so cute. It definitely had a couple little twists too that I didn't expect, and I really love this. This is like one of my favorite new books. Next is Confess by Colleen Hoover. This was the first Colleen Hoover book that I had read, and I've heard so many great things about her writing, and I absolutely loved it. I will have to warn you that the first 10 pages were extremely sad. I was literally on the verge of an ugly cry. I couldn't handle it. I put the book down and was like, I don't think I can handle this book. And decided, well, it can't get too much worse than it already was, so I decided to stick with it, and I'm so glad I did. It was the cutest little story, and it is about Auburn and Owen and their love story and how they connect together, and we figure out pretty quickly that Owen has some kind of past and is connected to Auburn. We just don't know how. All these secrets are kind of piled up and slowly unraveled. There was a couple twists. I do wish the ending would have been a little bit longer just to give us a little more closure on this, but I do love the way it ended. I thought it was super cute, really enjoyed it, and cannot wait for another Colleen Hoover book. Then we have The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I loved this book. I thought it was so great. It made me think, it had me laughing, and it was actually just a really good sci-fi book, which if you've been following me for a little bit, you know I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, but there are some books that are totally changing my mind. So this is about a 16-year-old named Cassie and this alien invasion that kind of happens and how she's trying to survive. We know that her little brother Sammy gets taken, so it's her attempt in rescuing him and saving her little brother. Along the way, she runs into Evan, and they have an adorable love story, and I loved it, and I really wish the movie would have played a little bit more into that, but that's a whole another thing. So anyways, I just think this was really great. Like I said, it made you think, and so I liked that aspect of it, and I loved being able to hear Cassie's thoughts. It was really entertaining, and definitely left off on a cliffhanger. So as you're left off of the cliffhanger for The Fifth Wave, I'm so glad I got to jump straight into The Infinite Sea because it definitely answered some of my questions I had after the destruction of Camp Haven. So again, this is by Rick Yancey. This is the second in the trilogy, and I had heard some mixed things about people didn't like it. I actually didn't think it was that bad. I really did enjoy it. I don't think it was super fast-paced, but it did have some great action, answered some questions, and again, left us on another cliffhanger, so I'm totally looking forward to the last star and cannot wait to wrap up this series. The last book that I had read during January was actually more of a comic book, and I will go into a full review and kind of tell you a little bit more about why I loved it, but I'm just going to give you a sneak peek because it's super cute. Loved it and cannot wait to share more. And it is Lady Killer by Joelle Jones and Jamie S. Rich. It was so awesome, and I picked it up on a whim, and I'm so glad I did, and I cannot give it enough raves, and I definitely think more people need to read this because I really, really enjoyed it and cannot wait to continue on. I did hear that they are going to continue it starting this spring, so I really look forward to that. Alright guys, that is everything I read in January, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a good book month, and I'm really looking forward to what February has in store. And like I said earlier, I'm going to leave all the links below to the full reviews of all the books that I read, so if you want just a little bit more information or a little bit more of my thoughts, you can find all that down below. Feel free to comment and let me know what you guys thought about these books or what you're excited about or looking forward to reading, and I will see you guys soon. Bye! Month that I love looking. Bleh. So next I have We Were Strangers by Renee. Bleh. Come on now, get it together. What is that face?